Hey Ed, welcome to another episode of Rankin. It's going to be a fun one today. We're talking about Netflix original movies. And yeah, I know it's early because why not? But I've got a great panel here. Here for the first time, I've got Chad. Chad, how's it going?
Hi, how's it going? Just studying for another trivia match I have coming up at some point, and decided to take a break to do this video. Um,
Uh, yeah. Also here for the first time, I've got Tony. Tony, how's it going?
It's going good. Yeah, I am very, very tired, but it's okay. Legitimately, you didn't message 10 minutes before, and I was already in bed, like already halfway through the Simpsons movie, going, "Oh, this is the life. I can get to sleep before midnight for once." Then it's just like, "Fuck."
um, and also here I've got Chris. Chris, how's it going?
Going good. Nice to be and talk about Netflix original movie. There surprisingly were a lot I've seen when I went through the list, and some that I really love. I can't wait to talk about.
Yeah, and how this works is we're going to go around in a panel and they're going to throw out a Netflix original that they think belongs on a top 12 list, and then because we've got an uneven panel, it's going to come down to the other three people whether it makes the list or not. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting, and there's a lot there which I didn't have not heard about. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But um, but I'm going to start with Tony because I feel I'm sorry that I messed everything up for him.
I had my caramel tea ready. I was watching. I was relaxed. I was thinking, "Oh, to watch Simpsons or Knives Out?" Because, all right. So, original movies. So, I'm gonna go for one that shouldn't, that wasn't gonna get any love outside of Netflix because of the way that it works at this moment in time. This genre in particular barely gets any attention, especially with the leads that they had. They did have Crazy Rich Asians was a film that came out recently and did really well, but Always Be My Maybe was like the predecessor almost, and it did so well. It's a beautiful romantic comedy. They have fantastic performances. Yes, I know, Goff. Keanu Reeves is a fantastic cameo performance in that. Ali Wong is great in it, and it's just such a well done romantic comedy, which is so rarely done these days.
Chris, what do you say about Always Be My Maybe?
It was my number one. This is probably one of my favorite Netflix original movies. This was a film I went in with very low expectation on. It had nothing but good thing, and I laughed so hard. Keanu Reeves cameo was the most funniest cameo last year. I laughed so hard watching in my living room. And the romantic relationship so cute. The father and son storyline ran the podcast, the one that plays dad, was really touching, and that's emotional. That was something unique that I really like to see romantic comedy. That took me by surprise. It wasn't what I was expecting. Yeah.
Chad, what do you say about Always Be My Maybe?
so you're probably going to hear this a lot from me. I actually haven't seen it. There's a lot that I haven't seen going over the list, but I managed to grab a good amount of ones. But yeah, I haven't seen it. I've been meaning to. I've heard a lot of good things, and just listening to these two guys talk about it, I want to see it even more now.
Um, yeah, this is one I rewatched specifically for this because I knew it was coming up, and I knew really loved it the first time. I wanted to see if it still held up, and it does. So I'm saying yes, it makes the list.
It's also, so I was going to say also, it probably has some of the best songs from last year as well. Like Tennis Ball is an absolute belter of a track. Like Randall Park is surprisingly a fantastic musician to the point where I'm just dying. I'm just hoping after lockdown he just ends up just like, oh yeah, by the way, we released a whole album. We got bored and just did it. Why not?
The restaurant scene and then the scene in the apartment after with Keanu Reeves was like two of the more funniest moments for that.
Yeah. But Chris, we go to you for your next nomination.
So I try to bring up one that I think not a lot of people seen came out right when Netflix started the original, but I love this movie. It's pretty small cat with one big name and one really big director. It beats a No Nation with Idris Elba. About Civil War non-African American boy forced to join the mercenary group to live out his life. Idris Elba leader. It's pretty intense movie and fascinating look at what was going on during the time. And Idris Elba gives phenomenal performance and kind of like anti-hero villain in the movie. I think it should be mentioned. Not a lot of people think it came out right when Netflix started to make the original movie, but definitely would recommend it for people to see.
Chad, what do you say about Beasts of No Nation?
Same thing. I haven't seen this one. I've been meaning to. I hear it's very good.
Yeah, this is one that I'm glad this one won the poll because it meant I could delve into some of these Netflix originals I haven't seen in it before, which this was one of them. But I've seen it just the other night. It's a great movie. So I'm going to say yes. Tony, what do you say about Beast of No Nation?
I think it really does. Looking back at it, I've not seen it since 2015. You really only remember Idris Elba's performance, but it's so well done, so massively done. It's ridiculous that he didn't get any more nominations from the BAFTA for it. So 100%, like Beast of Nominations, like Kerry Fukunaga, fantastic work from her as director. Sorry for him, I should say. Once again, I was asleep 10 minutes. I was trying to get to sleep 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Kerry Fukunaga, fantastic work from him as director. Like the children actors as well, they were great as well. So.
And Beast of No Nation is the second one to make this list. Chad, what is the first one you're going to throw out?
So the one that I put on the top of my list is actually Marriage Story. This was nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars, and it has like some of the best performances I've ever seen. I mean, Adam Driver's like a rising star right now, and just him and the chemistry between he and Scarlett Johansson in this one. The happy moments and then the nice sweet moments, but then also the big fights are some of like the screaming matches in this movie. Like I'm just like that's real right there. Like I there's no, I mean it's fake, but is it? And also like Laura Dern and Ray Liotta, some great like side performances too. I just directed by Noah Baumbach. It's just one of my favorite movies of his, and I just think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, I love Marriage Story. I think Marriage Story is a great movie. And performances of ScarJo and Adam Driver, they make a great combo. So it's all that combined. It's just one of those ones that I think works. And I don't really go for a lot for these dramas too much, but this one just really took me by surprise, so I'm going to say yes to Marriage Story. Tony, what do you say about Marriage Story?
All right, this is where I'm going to sound like a wanker, but I'm not a fan of Marriage Story because I don't like Noah Baumbach's work. I find him that he's very much the words I use is pretentious wanker. It's like, he's a bit of a, he's just one of those directors where he's just very much like, oh, look how clever I am in the writing, how smart I am with all this. It's just like, it never really, like, and looking at the Marriage Story, it's like, oh, it's actually about his real life divorce. Like, he takes parts of that, like some of those is actually real because he was married to an actress before he got on with, what's her name? But it just, whenever I watch it, it's just like, yeah, you're just really, really proud that you wrote a smart script, aren't you, son? There are some good performances in there, but I thought like Scarlett Johansson was the second best performance of that year. Well, actually, even third, I would say.
So that's a no.
No.
Yep. I just want to make sure. But Chris, what do you say about Marriage Story? It's all down to you.
So I saw this on a plane coming back from Italy last year. I downloaded on Netflix, watched on my phone, and this was incredible movie, incredible performances. The argument scene alone is like two great acting performing against each other, and emotional. For me, this is a film that I still think about since I've seen it, especially the contest, especially Anna Driver, who either way he could have won the Best Actor nomination, either him or Joaquin Phoenix that year. But back and forth, either way, I would have been happy either way. But yeah, definitely yes.
And with that, Marriage Story does make this list. But, so, On my first one is one that I actually watched for the first time for this list. It's called Like Father. It's got Kristen Bell, Seth Rogen, and Kelsey Grammer in this. But this is an interesting story. But it's about Kristen Bell sort of gets jilted at the altar, and then um, her father, her father, she finds out her father was at her wedding and had walked out at the time she was getting there. Then, like, she goes on this kind of vacation with her father. Um, s- then she meets Seth Rogen's character and all that. It's one of these stories which is a fun story. And it's also moving in a lot of places as well because um not going to try and give away too much, but it's kind of the crux of this movie is about her and her father sort of getting to know each other because her father walked out on her when she was young, so she was getting to know her father again. All sorts of drama while being on this cruise and all that as well. But Tony, what do you say about Like Father?
Um, so as I love Kristen Bell, I think she's a fantastic actress. The Good Place is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. Same with Veronica Mars. Like, I'll be honest, like the last 5 years, if she's not animated, she's not been in that many good movies. And this is one of them. Like Father, I thought was just very much a meh. It was fine, but it wasn't like it didn't do anything of value for what the people that were in there. It was very much a just paint by numbers type of job. Like there's quite a number of them on Netflix where it's just like, meh. Like I see why you didn't get a theatrical release, and sadly this is one of them.
Chris, what do you say about Like Father?
I forgot this for Netflix video. Oh shit! I like this movie. I do. It's a top 12 best Netflix original. I had to say no. I do like the movie. I love Kelsey Grammer. I love her, and I like Seth Rogen movie. I just don't consider top 12. It's a good movie. I just forgot it was a Netflix original until you brought it up.
Chad, what do you say about Like Father?
No, this one I've actually never heard of, but I do love Kristen Bell and well, yeah, all the actors you named. I love all those people. So I kind of want to check it out, but I can't really say anything about it.
That's totally fair, and we go back to Tony for his next nomination.
All right. So I'm gonna go for one. So obviously, I'm not American, so I don't know whether or not this was released anywhere else in the US, but I adore this. It was called A Stupid and Futile Gesture. It's it's fantastic. This weird like biopic, but it isn't. But it's like you have like so much like weird and stuff behind it. Sorry, I'm just quickly grabbing the name of the guy because I forget.
Oh,
Douglas Kenny. Sorry, yeah, who was the one of the leading founders of the Harvard Lampoon, later on like the National Lampoons and all that jazz, and he's one that's tried to commit suicide. Well, they think he committed suicide. They don't really know what happened to him after the release of Caddyshack was a flop, and it's such a wonderfully told story about just this man trying to make comedy and just like he's in most demons, and it's just like so well done. Like Will Forte is fantastic in it, which is a very weird sentence to say.
Yep. Chris, what do you say about A Stupid and Futile Gesture?
I had not even heard of this, but now you put it on my radar. It sounds interesting. I was trying to look it up. I just never even heard of this. So I sadly had to say no. Sorry, Tony. Until you brought it up, I just probably what I didn't even see it.
It's all good. Chad, what do you say about A Stupid and Futile Gesture?
so this was released in the U.S. I did start this movie, so I have heard of it, but I'd never finished it. And it's not like a bad thing. Like that's not a comment about the quality of the movie. I just, for whatever reason, I didn't have time to finish it. I only watched like maybe the first couple scenes or something. However, I do want to say I just looked it up, and apparently Joel McHale plays Chevy Chase in this movie.
Yeah.
And as a big Community fan, that's hilarious.
There's one or two jokes that he makes of just like, yeah, you did that with a lot of malice, didn't you, good sir? Just he's Loki has a fantastic performance. Donald Gleason as well plays like the best friend of Douglas, and he's fantastic in it as well.
Yeah, and as Garth says in the chat, Joel and Chevy just never got along. But yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't make the list. I would have said yes to it. I think it's a good movie. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. Like, I mean, a lot of those cameos that you see in this, like you've got Martin Mull playing the older version of Doug, and then I can't remember who played the younger one, but I think it might have been Will Forte or something like that. But this is just a entertaining movie. It's just it's also one of those ones like you don't know how much of this is actually really did happen and how much they actually fabricated for this because yeah. But Chris, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
So mine is, I don't go a little bit outside the box here. This is a movie that, yeah, it's cliche, yes, it's romantic comedy, but it's a film that I saw for the first time this year I fell in love with. Yeah, a coming of age movie to all of the boys I loved before. With Landon College, directed by Sue Johnson. This is a cute little romantic comedy about this girl in high school. Her little sister accidentally released all of the letters she wrote to all of the boys that she had crush on before, and they get released to all of the boys. And she try to figure out, who she wants to be with. At the same time, she's planning to date somebody else, and they start to fall in love with each other. This really cute romantic comedy, great family drama, great romance story in there. And it's really good. I haven't seen the sequel yet, but the first movie is really good. Like, to all of the boys I loved before.
Chad, what do you say about To All the Boys I Loved Before?
Another one I haven't seen. I feel like it's just going to be like that pretty much the whole video. I have heard of it. I have been wanting to see it. I do like romantic comedies, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one that I don't mind saying yes to. I think it's a good movie, and it's one that I didn't expect to love because it looked like one of those teenage romantic comedy things that was based on a book that just wasn't good. But I just found it was charming when I watched it. I think. Tony, what do you say about To All the Boys I Loved Before?
Yeah, so it's obviously like for males, this is not a movie set for us. This is very much a film directed at one particular audience, and it hits them perfectly square between the eyes. It's a fantastic and beautifully done film for that. It's one of like with the rom-coms and stuff, they've kind of been outside of the bubble of like mainstream cinema. And these romance films, if they've not got vampires in them, or it's not like you can cash in and have like 15 sequels of Will They Won't They don't really get that much attention anymore in the big cinemas. Like, this is one of those that if it was released in like the late 80s, the early 90s, it would be one that's like up there as just like the great, like John Hughesian level of greatness.
So was that a yes?
Yes.
Yeah, good. And Peggy can rest easy.
I do you want a sequel sometime this week. I know if people said a sequel is good. Oh.
But Chad, we go back to you.
So that one didn't get nominated or didn't get put on the list?
It did make it on. I'm just typing it in up there.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So I'll go ahead and I'm gonna say Roma. That one actually did win Best Picture, right?
It didn't.
Oh, it didn't. That's right. Okay.
Green Book.
So, well, maybe it should have. I don't know, but it was really good. Alfonso Cuarón is like an auteur. Pretty much all the movies I've seen he's done have been great. This one in particular, just like the black and white film style, just the way he moves the camera is really great. and like a lot of the actors in this movie are pretty much like unknown, and especially the main actress was it like a what do you call it, a native Mexican girl, and it just surrounds like this family, and then they have like a worker girl that works for them, and she ends up getting pregnant, and it's just a really kind of beautiful story, and I really liked it a lot. I've seen it a couple times, and I've liked it both times. So
Yeah, I think Roma is fine at best. Like those in the community that know me know that I'm not a overly big fan when it comes to foreign movies and reading subtitles and all that. I mean, I give them a try when if it's like a highly touted one. I've still got to really give Parasite a chance, but that being said, Roma is one of those ones that I think is a fine movie. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna say no to it myself, but yeah, Tony, what do you say about Roma?
I should have loved Roma. It's done by Francis Cuarón, who like Gravity is one of my favorite films of all time. And it's just like, and I came into it wanting it to be just like mind blowing, just like holy shit, this is amazing. And sadly, it's one. Here's the thing with Netflix films when it's done by people like prominently known. Either it's because it's too weird to get on in the cinemas, or it's because they went, you know what? I want to make the movie that I want to make. I'm not giving a damn about the audience, and that's the way it's gonna be. And that's what I think Ron did. It made it very much the film that he wanted, and it fell into that once again that potential wank side of just like, oh look how great of an auteur I am. It's like it could like it's one of those things where if he had someone going, hang on a minute, mate, we have to make a bit more money on this. Like cut like 20 minutes out of it and make it a bit more fast paced. You're grand.
And Chris, what do you say about Roma?
I had not seen it yet. This is on my list to watch. My parents didn't love it, so I kind of avoided it. But I hear I should give it a chance, and I love Francis Cuarón. I mean, Kid the Man is my favorite movie from him, and I love the Harry Potter movie. So I really get around to watch it. I heard bad mixed things from a lot of people about it.
you just pulled the chat. You haven't seen it.
But yeah, we're back. But we're back to me, and I'm going to bring up one that's bound to make someone in this chat very happy. I'm going to bring up Someone Great, and this is a really fun movie. I didn't know if I would like it at all because I've heard Peggy go on about it so much about it. So it's like for me when a movie gets hyped up, so when a movie gets hyped up a lot, that I really don't know if I'm going to enjoy it that much or not. And I'm probably going to give it another chance at some stage, but I don't mind bringing it up because I think it is a good movie, and I think as a romantic comedy it works. Tony, what do you say about Someone Great?
All right. So if you like rom-coms, I definitely suggest you watch it. There are some really good performances in it. However, I feel that from that year alone, it wasn't the best rom-com released on Netflix. It was like it's good, but it's not great. It doesn't really have like it just plateaus a bit. It feels like at some point, where it's just like they have this decent idea, and then it just like stays there, and just like doesn't really pick up anymore. And it's like I'm just like it just needed more.
Chris, what do you say about Someone Great?
I do Paul Malcolm. I had not seen it. The first time I'm hearing about it, but I just wrote it down based on Malcolm Mouse and meditation. So I will watch eventually. I just had to say no at the moment.
Oh man.
I have it written right down here on my list to watch.
Chad, what would you have said about Someone Great?
I'm the same with Chris there. I haven't seen it either. Boy, Netflix does a lot of romantic comedies now, don't they? I was just looking it up. It's got Lakeith Stanfield in it. I mean, that for me is probably going to mean I'm going to like it. So I'm definitely going to check it out.
But
Yeah, I should say it is good. Like Lakeith Stanfield does have a good. He's a very minor character, but he's good in it. Like Brittany Snow is hilarious in it, playing the whitest white girl you'll ever find. And I'm not gonna spoil it, but I say cameo performance from someone who does a really good role of pretty much playing themselves as a drug dealer, which is good. Yeah, so definitely watch it. But as I said, it's not the best rom-com of the year from Netflix.
But with that, we go back to Tony for his next nomination.
All right, so I am going to. So I'm just double checking to make sure I'm not going to say, oh yeah, this one, and it's like, oh, actually, that came out everywhere else in the world apart from you, your little country, you twat. All right, I'm just going to say this one because, quite frankly, it was a new film in the 21st century from Orson Welles. The Other Side of the Wind. Like it's so well done. Like just like as a movie, it's great. But if you just put the thought into it of just like, holy shit, the work that they, what, how, why is he's dead? Like how, why? It's just so perfectly done, and like. And also, I would say, like, tagging on to this, like, I'm cheating, but the documentary as well, They'll Love Me When I'm Dead, as well. Like, those two really go together as this great piece of just, like, awesome, like, just mind-blowing, just like, how, what, okay.
But Chris, what do you say about The Other Side of the Wind?
I have not seen it, but I know a lot of people love it. It's on my list, I got Crazy one on my list as well, but I'm happy Tony mentioned it because I love it so I'm interested to check out eventually. So I had to say no because I feel cheated to say yes to something I haven't seen.
But Chad, what do you say about Other Side of the Wind?
So actually, I haven't seen either of those, but I thought you were just gonna mention the documentary, and then when you came up with this movie directed by Orson Welles like recently, I had to look it up, and then I go, what? So now I have to check out these two. But yeah, thanks for recommending that.
Yeah, this is one that I'm going to check out as well. I haven't seen The Other Side of the Wind, and this is one that I also completely forgot it was a Netflix original. But yeah, but Chris, what is your next movie you're going to bring up?
So this came the last minute because I restricted my travel because I only seen half of it. This is kind of one of the most craziest Netflix documentary ever came out the past year. It's called Fire, the greater party that never happened, about the fire festival that happened and the craziness. I mean, the scene alone when the guy over forced to get somebody a blowjob just so to get water for the festival is insane. The story they tell, and the Hulu one is actually really good one, but the way this go on and on, the interview they have with the people that went there, how crazy it is. Insane that entrepreneur who tried to put it together is how much he got away with it. A really good documentary. Nobody ever seen it. Definitely caught fire. The greater party that never happened.
Chad, what do you say about Fire, the greatest party that never happened?
Haven't seen that one either, but I have heard a lot of good things about that one, and apparently there's like another one on Hulu that's supposed to be really good as well. So yeah, I need to check out those. I do love documentaries.
It's how the entrepreneur perspective on Hulu, so and trying to compare it to both.
Yeah, I mean, this is another one that I've heard of. I just haven't checked it out just because I didn't. Well, partly because I just thought it was going to be about people taking drugs and all that, and I may not be that interesting, but I'll check it out. But it's just, yeah. Tony, would you have said about Fire, the greatest party that never happened?
So Netflix has a high bar of like really fantastic documentaries. They probably are for this century the greatest at releasing them. And Fire is at one of the top there. It's a fantastic documentary. Seriously, go watch it. It's just this really impressive story that they tell.
Yeah, that one story about when he had to die to do something is so insane.
But Chad, we go back to you for your next nomination.
Okay, well, we just went with one documentary. I'll go with another. 13th. A lot of people have recently been talking about this because of the stuff that has been going on in the USA with the police brutality. This one is a lot about that, but specifically with prisons in America. It's directed by Ava DuVernay, and it's a really scary but like informative one about just like the history in the U.S. about how African Americans have been still basically like enslaved in our prisons, and that just the system against them has just been basically disproportionately locking up a lot of our minority people, and it's really good.
Yeah, I haven't seen this purely because with everything going on, I just don't think it'll be comfortable watching it at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's not meant to be.
Oh well,
No,
I mean,
seriously, that's not an excuse. Like that film, you will never feel comfortable watching it. It's a very one that'll just make you your skin crawl of just like how just like terrible you feel as a person because this is happening in the world. Like if you're waiting for the perfect time to watch it, today it's available on YouTube. They put it out on free for YouTube now. It's like sadly, it's just never going to be the case where you'll feel that it's going to be the time to watch it.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, I get that. It's like I wasn't saying that that I was waiting for a perfect time, because I know there's probably never going to be a perfect time to watch it. I just didn't want to watch it because it's one of those ones I know it's happening. It's and all that. And I just I want to be in the right mood to actually watch this documentary about it. So yeah. But Tony, what do you say about the 13th?
So like I said, Netflix is one of the best, and 13th is probably the best that they've done. Point Blank is a phenomenal piece of work. Like it should if it's not being used in school systems in the US to teach in like civil classes, if they are missing a trick, is some of the most impactful work you can ever watch.
Chris, what do you say about 13th?
I believe I've seen this. I think it's been a while, so I don't say yes, but I think I saw most of it when my parents had it on, so I don't say yes. And I do like it. It's been a long time ago. I just try to go back in my memory on Netflix. So.
and with that, 13th does make it on this list. And we come back to me. Yeah, no, we do come back to me. I just had to make sure on who just went, but yeah. So for me, the next one I'm going to bring up is the fundamentals of caring. And this is it's got Paul Rudd in this, and this is one of those fun movies that I think is just entertaining because Paul Rudd has to look after this handy, capable person in a wheelchair, but it's just one of those ones that is so heartwarming and entertaining, and I think is a great movie. Tony, what do you say about the fundamentals of caring?
I've never heard of this. Like, I'm just looking now. Selena Gomez is in it. Yeah, I just completely slipped through. It looks interesting. Like Paul Rudd is fantastic. So, but yeah, I will add it to my list.
Chris, what do you say about the fundamentals of caring?
I'm returning here. I heard of it. I've been meaning to watch it. I just haven't got around to watching it. I do love Paul Rudd and I do love Selena Gomez when she and good stuff. But yeah, on my list, a long list of Netflix movie to watch.
Chad, what do you say about the fundamentals of caring?
So this is kind of like the reverse circumstance here. I've actually seen this one, guys. Um, so this one, I remember like my dad was just kept going on about this movie, and then I was like, he tried to get us to watch it at Christmas, and I was like, it's not a Christmas movie, but I ended up watching it later, and I really liked this movie a lot actually. Paul Rudd and Selena Gomez are really good, and the guy, I don't know the handicapped guy's name, but he's really good in it as well. It's yeah, like everything you said, Malcolm. Just like heartwarming, sweet movie. They bond over like a road trip because like he's in like a situation where he's like never really been able to go out, but he like wants to like visit some sort of like place or whatever. Like it's this like Mecca he wants to go to or whatever, and he ends up Paul Rudd's like this kid may not have that much longer to live, so let's take them, and they go on like a road trip, and it's really nice movie.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. It was by the way, the kid that was in a wheelchair, it was Craig Roberts, who I just found out was in a TV show over here called The Story of Tracy Beaker, which I watched a ton of as a kid. Holy shit. I need to watch that because it'd be weird seeing him as an adult.
But that we go back to Tony for his next nomination.
Alright, I'm gonna go with a film that got horribly robbed at the Oscars this year. It was a fantastic, incredibly done piece of animation work called Klaus. This is Sergio Pablos, Jason Schwartzman, and J.K. Simmons for some fantastic voice performances. It's beautiful, like legitimately, it was the last film that brought me to tears. It was so well done. It's such a beautiful movie. Like, even if I know it's got 5 months until Christmas, and I'm normally, if anyone says, "Oh, I watched It's a Wonderful Life this week because it's nearly Christmas," I normally hate them. But this one, no matter the season, please watch it. It's beautiful.
Chris, what do you say about Klaus?
Okay, this was a film that was doing once, and I haven't gotten around to it because I found out the last minute of it to be on today, but I know everybody else would say yes, but as people said yes, I'm happy being on my top on my list to watch because I know everybody and including everybody I know from fandom talked about it a lot. And I love those type of animation that not a lot of people think.
Chad, what do you say about Klaus?
So this is actually on my list. I saw this recently. I had got it recommended to me, and I mean, I do love Christmas movies, so I had to check it out. And this movie is, it's really beautiful. It's got a great story about like loss, and a lot of good themes in there, and it's hilarious. I remember like laughing like a ton to this movie. It's just a really great movie, and I agree with Tony where you could like watch it even if it's not on Christmas, but it's still great to watch on Christmas. I really like that one a lot. Even if it doesn't end up on the list, please watch this movie.
Yeah, this was literally going to be the next one I was going to watch for this list. I didn't get around to it in the end. But so sadly it doesn't make the list. But yeah, it looks like a movie I'll enjoy, and with the fact that it sort of came out of nowhere to start getting nominated for Oscars, like it has to be a good movie for that happen. But Chris, what is your next nomination?
Okay, I think one I am surprised nobody bought yet. I think this is it's sad because of coronavirus right now that this Polly will get Oscar nominated. They bring out Defy Blood by Spike Lee. I think, yeah, the the aging effect not that great and it's slow, but the performance, the Roy Window, give phenomenal performance, and he should get Oscar nomination for it. And like, then the way you talk about the Vietnam War, like the fact war had on people, to the all of the good performances, to the intensity of it, and that one shot with Linda just talking to the audience, one of the most chilling moments I've seen this year. That sent chills down my spine. I know we did come up eventually, but we should talk about Defy Blood.
Chad, what do you say about the Five Bloods?
This is definitely one on the top of my to watch list because I still haven't seen it. But it's got Chadwick Boseman in it. My name's Chadwick. I have to go see this. I have to see this movie at some point. I just haven't gotten around to it. I heard it's great though.
But yeah, like this is a movie which I didn't know what I was going to think about when I was going to watch it because it's one of those ones like another like war is probably a big genre that I don't go to a lot, but quite often and like one thing I've started doing now is like I try to watch as many movies as I can that came out this year so I can do a top ranking at the end. And this is one that I enjoyed watching. And I don't mind saying yes to this because it is a good movie. And I think it was released at kind of the perfect time to actually get the impact that needed. Tony, what do you say about the Five Bloods?
So I've only recently started watching Spike Lee films just because he's never really been a thing over here. So the Five Bloods I was putting off until I kind of watched more of his other stuff just so I can really understand and take in. It's great. It's not his greatest work, but it's a fantastic war piece that he does, and just like, yeah, absolutely should be on.
And
I love Spike
By the
Lee.
way, the White Linda should hopefully get nominated at the holding Oscar next year. Phenomenal performance.
well, I mean, from what people were saying, it was intended for a theatrical release, so it's eligible. So
Hopefully, yeah.
But yeah, Chad, we go back to you for your next nomination.
Okay. I was still trying to struggle of like which one to pick. Looking at my list right now. I will go with. All right, I'll go with a more fun one. I'll go with Gerald's Game because I love Mike Flanagan, y'all, and he went to high school not that far from where I live, and he's just like one of the best horror. He's one of the best directors, like today working, and it's just Hush. All these movies that he's just like low key, just like started coming out with are just some of the scariest, craziest movies, and specifically this one with it's a Stephen King book, it's Gerald's Game. At reading this book, I was like, I don't know how they'll ever like adapt this to a movie. And he did it like phenomenally, just like with all the visual, metaphoric, storytelling. It's just really good. I can't even really. I don't even know how to explain it that well, but basically a lady and a guy go to a cabin, to basically get away together, and I think he tries to like force himself on her or something, and she kicks him off the bed. He dies, and then she's handcuffed to the bed for I think most of the rest of the movie. But it like there's a lot of flashbacks to like her childhood and stuff as well that really develop her character, and it's just a really great movie.
Yeah, Mike Flanagan has been really great when it comes to Stephen King adaptations. Like he did Doctor Sleep last year, and I really enjoyed Gerald's Game. I'm going to say yes to it. Tony, what do you say about Gerald's Game?
It's a horror film, so surprisingly, I've not seen it. I've heard fantastic thing from Mike Flanagan. I suspect that it'll be incredible. Just having a quick brief of the synopsis. Sounds interesting, but yeah, it's scary. Know me. I like having clean pants.
Chris, what do you say about Gerald's Game?
This was my number 10. This is an excellent movie. It have Spy Kid mom in it and Bruce Greenberg. There you go. It's so good. It's so intense, gruesome, but it have like psychological drama. It's one of my favorite Stephen King adaptations of any of his stuff, and it's so good. You have it check out. It's really good, gruesome, but have really good ending. And like the way the end is definitely worth watching. Like,
Um,
That actress, by the way, is also on the Haunting of Hill House show that he did, which is also excellent.
um,
yes, so
but yeah, it's back to me. And I'm going to bring up a movie from an actor that lately hasn't been doing good stuff. But I'm bringing up the Meyerowitz stories. And this is one that really surprised me when it came out because, like, it had both Adam Sandler and Ben Stiller both have kind of fallen off the wayside of late when it comes to them and their comedies. But whenever Adam Sandler goes into drama, he always shines better, which is crazy. But and Ben Stiller's another one which his comedy of late has been kind of ebbs and really big dips, but his drama stuff has been great. But when you put them both together and then you throw in Dustin Hoffman and Judd Hirsch and a bunch of other great people in this was a charming movie, and think it deserves to be here. Tony, what's say about the Meyerowitz stories?
This film tricked me into watching Marriage Story because I thought I like it because of this, because Nolan Baumbach directed it. Yeah, I really like it. I think it's one of I don't think it's Sandler's best performance of the decade, but it's definitely up there.
Chris, what do you say about Meyerowitz stories?
I had not. I've been meaning to watch it, and I love Adam Sandler. Saying he haven't done anything great lately. Uncut Gem would have to disagree there, but yeah, I on my list to see. I do like Noah Baumbach stuff a lot.
And
So I had
Chad,
to
what do you
know because
it's all good. Chad, what do you say about the Meyerowitz stories?
Same as Chris. I haven't seen it, but I used to be a big Adam Sandler fan, and now I might be becoming another one if he keeps up these movies like Uncut Gems and Meyerowitz stories.
I mean, if he sticks to his agreement, we're going to get the worst Adam Sandler movie ever because he wasn't nominated for the Oscar. But Tony, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
I'm going to go back to last year, I feel, because I think last year was one of their best years. I'm going to go for one that was sadly not Oscar nominated because, damn it, Eddie Murphy deserves an Oscar nomination for Dolomite Is My Name. It's hilariously written, some fantastic performances throughout, and just like it was just it's one of those films where you just like everything goes to this is a perfect Oscar bait film. Was it too funny? I don't know, but yeah, it's Dolomite Is My Name.
Chris, what do you say about Dolomite Is My Name?
on my list, this is probably one of the better films I saw last year that took me by surprise. Wesley Snipes is so good when he comes into the film. Everything Titus Burgess is great. Keenan Michael K is great. And like a great story about especially like following your dream. Even how shitty the film really is to follow your dream and make a movie you want to make. And it's funny, Eddie Murphy gave one of his best comeback performances I ever seen him give. He should have got Oscar nomination. I saw the Adam Sandler, I would have put him over Adam Sandler. I had to say it to the best comeback for last year. Like, definitely check out if you guys haven't seen it. Dolomite is so good.
Chad, what do you say about Dolomite Is My Name?
Yeah, I did have this on my list as well. It was actually very, very funny, very great. Eddie Murphy kind of returned to form. I it's interesting because like I had just watched Ed Wood and I've seen The Disaster Artist, and this one is kind of like reminiscent of those films, but like even though it's kind of it even though like it could have been like just a retread of those, it's not, and it's just still great despite being so similar.
Yeah, yeah. This is one which made me kind of redeem Eddie Murphy a bit in my eyes. Like he's been one of those ones which I haven't enjoyed in ages whenever he's done a movie. And because he's he's probably done more shit than Adam Sandler at this point. And but this one surprised me, and I'm happily going to say yes to Dolomite is my name. And Chris, what is your next nomination?
Speaking of Train for last year, I'd like to bring up something that I bet you Mal could say no to. I'd like to bring up the two Pope. This is Anthony Hopkins and Jonathan Pryce. Yeah, the flashbacks of the verb, but the conversations between them both are so good. The performance, especially for Jonathan Pryce and Anthony Hopkins, are phenomenal. Especially coming from someone who went to Rome last year. I saw the Vatican, went through everything, understanding about Pope Francis and everything. It kind of hit me on a different sense here. I see a fascinating religion and different point of view about finding your spiritual awakening. And Jonathan Pryce, like, talk about all great performance at Best Actor last. He gave a phenomenal performance, and he would have been my third spot for whoever loves to see him win Best Actor. Like, Anthony Hopkins is great. The way they speak different language, doing back and forth, it's fascinating. And like, for somebody been in one, it's beautiful to watch. And well, so I had to bring out the two Pope.
Chad, what do you say about the two popes?
So I did actually see this one because I mean it was Oscar nominated, and I try to see all those if I can. I'm just gonna say I didn't really like it that much, to be honest. While I'm sure like I did think like the performances were really great. I do like the discussion between the two about religion, but also they had like some sort of like political divide. So there's a lot of like discussions, but I just found it kind of actually really boring, to be honest. And that's really no disrespect to Chris's opinion or the film itself. It's just it didn't really grasp me. So
yeah, this is one just like Chad. I watched it because it was Oscar nominated, and, like as one we were going to talk about Gone with the Wind. But yeah, it was fine. It did what it needed to do. I think Jonathan Pryce and Anthony Hopkins were great. I don't think they should have been nominated though for the Oscars. But that's just me. Tony, what do you say about
I
the
love
two popes?
Two Popes. I thought it was fantastic. Like, if you're sitting down and just expecting, okay, it's going to be two old men talking, and it's just wonderfully well done. Like, I think you need to give it another watch. I think, like, not going in going, oh, this is obviously going to be amazing because it's an Oscar nomination. Not to me, any particular, but it's like going in expecting it to be like an Oscar-worthy film. Probably not the greatest thing, but if you're just going in expecting a good performance from Hopkins, then you won't be disappointed.
I could probably revisit it at some point.
Me and Tony on the Lonely Island.
Wait, who's nuts? The people that liked it or not?
I think he's talking about us, Chad.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, like, I didn't watch it because I thought it was going to get Oscar nominated until that. I was watching it because we brought to about it for the Oscar podcast we're doing. But yeah. Anyway, we go back to Chad for his next nomination.
Okay. I was really torn about like which one to kind of choose here. I have a couple documentaries and then another one. I think I'm gonna go with one that kind of surprised me. I'm gonna go with Paddleton. And that movie, I don't know if a lot of people have seen it or heard of it, but it has oh god, what's the guy's name? Hold on, let me bring this one up real quick. I really need to talk about this actor.
The
Mark
Duplass brothers.
Duplass.
Yeah.
Mark Duplass. And he's been just kind of like on a tear with, a lot of these like really great movies like Creep and Creep 2 are really good horror movies. But Paddleton is one that kind of came out and surprised me. It has Mark Duplass and Ray Romano in it. And this movie is just basically about a friendship. And then one of the guys gets cancer. It's kind of like 50-50 a little bit. But even though it's similar to that, this one just kind of like the conversations they have in it, and then like Ray Romano, like them just basically trying to come to terms with Mark Duplass having I think he has cancer, and just I've never really like cried at a movie like this one, like I have with this one in a while. So this one was really great, and great performances by those two actors.
Yeah, I didn't like Paddleton. It's a no for me. Tony, what do you say about Paddleton?
I really liked it. I thought Romano and Duplass were great in it. If you are a fan of the Duplass brothers, this is going to be something right up your alley. Yeah, really well.
Chris, what do you say about Paddleton?
Abstain, I have not seen it. I just looked it up and haven't seen it.
Unfortunately, it doesn't make this list.
It'll make you really emotional if you watch it, though. It's really, I mean, unless it doesn't grab you like Malcolm.
Even though I love Mark Duplass and Creed 1 and Creed 2 afterwards.
But yeah, it brings back to me, and I don't know how this is going to go, because this person this documentary is about is very polarizing at times. Some people either love her music, some people don't. I'm bringing up Miss Americana. This is behind the scenes of one of Taylor Swift's tours, and it talks a lot about her life and stuff like that at times. Like, it's one of those great documentaries which blends in her concert as well, just really seamlessly. It's around the time of when she was releasing the album Lover, I think is the one that she was doing. And I think this documentary is fun, and I mean, if you haven't seen it, I recommend it, even if you don't like Taylor Swift, because it might help you it might help you understand her a little bit and actually find out some of the stuff that she does actually do out there. But Tony, what do you say about Miss Americana?
Watch it. Screw this. If you've not watched it, close this. Go on Netflix. Watch it now. It's fantastic.
That good, huh?
I have not seen it, so I think.
Go now.
Oh, man.
Chad, what do you say about Miss Americana?
So actually, I for a while, like when she first came out with started coming out with her country albums, I liked her quite a bit. And then when she went pop and started to like have feuds with like Spotify and stuff, she started to I kind of turned off to her. And then she came out with Lover, and I heard that one, and I listened to that basically like a million times last year. And then this new album she released also I really like, and she's just kind of like changing things up, and I really like that. So I did watch Miss Americana. It is one of the tracks of Lover, the title, and I really like this movie a lot too. It really does kind of like put you in her shoes a little bit. It talks about like how she had like a guy kind of sexually assault her, and a court case with that. And then there's also like just like her issues of like, having to stay, basically just her worried about like not like, being fit enough for like magazines and stuff like that. And it's just, certain things like that you just never really think about. And it's just a really nice look into her life, and it also like shows her writing some of the songs for the album, and I just really liked it a lot. And now she's kind of one of my favorite artists today.
But for that makes the list. We've got 3 spots left, and we're back to Tony.
Okay, so I am gonna go. So I'm just trying to remember what's been said or not. Once again, very, very tired. All right, so I had some opinions that upset a few people in the chat about rom-coms earlier. I'm gonna go set it up from 2018. This is a fantastic one. Zoe Deutsch, Glenn Powell. Like you have Lucy Liu as like the boss when they're trying to set up with another guy. With a guy, it's so odd. As I said, there's when someone great. I was saying there's better rom-coms Netflix release. This was the one I was thinking of. That and always be my maybe. So yeah.
Chris, what do you say about Set It Up?
I'm saying this is one I've wanted to watch with my girlfriend. I just have sat her down to watch it yet because I love Lucy Liu. I love Tay Dig. Like,
Chad, what do you say about Set It Up?
Never heard of it, but I'm interested.
Yeah, this is one I have seen. I do need to give it a rewatch because the first time I watched it, I wasn't a big fan. But I've heard so many people praise this, so I think I need to watch it again because maybe I've missed something that the others have seen. But yeah. Chris, what is your next nomination?
so I do go back to something not a lot of people have seen. This is a really, really good movie about African American family, a white family, and them having to deal with each other. With what's his name? Jason Clarke in it. Jonathan Banks in it. And it is Mudbound. A really good movie. Mary Blight. Mary Blight to go through play Cha on Umbrella Academy. She was nominated for this. And the back and forth and look at their point of view about both their kid wanting to have a friendship, but the family wanted to tear it apart, and then the tragedy that happened at the end. It's heartbreaking. And Jonathan Banks is a awful character movie that you want to hate. You kind of get what's coming to him at the end. But if you guys have not seen Mudbound, Marriott Blight did a phenomenal performance to the Oscar nomination she got. And definitely check it out. It's one I know not a lot of people have seen, but I remember being blown away by it when it came out on Netflix in 2017.
Chad,
what do you say about Mudbound?
I have seen this one, and I did love this movie. It's so great. It's just a lot of like it's got of like racial stuff in it, and it's Jason Mitchell is like right around like not long after I saw Straight Outta Compton with him in it, and it's just like I started to really like that actor. He's so good in like everything he's in, and this movie just like is so strong that like I never thought I could hate Jonathan Banks because I love Breaking Bad so much and Better Call Saul and all that, and this movie actually made me hate him because he was so good in it. I really like that one a lot. I think anybody should see it. It's really good.
Mudbound is one that I really loved, and this is one that I do think is great and deserves to be on this list. Tony, what do you say about Mudbound?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Some absolute great work from D. Rees, who, if you've not seen Pariah from 2011, go and find that. It's incredible. Don't watch the one that came out this year, though. Yeah, Mudbound's great.
What was the movie you said?
Pariah.
Oh, okay.
Good one.
Chad, we go back to you for
Came Mulligan also very good.
Right. Okay. So I actually have a couple more documentaries. A lot of mine are documentaries that I saw. Yeah, I don't know if anybody else has this, but it was like an Oscar. I believe it won the Oscar. American Factory documentary. This one just like goes
Mm.
into specifically an American issue is what they go into because it's a particular factory in America that is shutting down, and then a Chinese company comes in and takes it over. But it just like it goes through a lot of the way that factories come in and they try to like make money off of people, and they start like cutting their salaries, and a lot of it has to do with people start to their quality of life starts to go down, so they want to unionize, but then the Chinese factory owners are hardcore trying to basically stop them from trying to unionize because that would not be good for their profits or whatever. So it's really a hard look into that kind of issue.
Yeah. Um, yeah, this is it's one of those ones like it's not an easy watch, but it's not supposed to be an easy watch. And and this is one that I think is interesting and very impactful. I don't mind saying yes to it. Tony, what do you say about American Factory?
More than deserved the Oscar this year. And it was probably one of the most hardest years for the best documentaries. Fantastic work, 100%.
And Chris, what do you say about American Factory?
I had not seen it yet because I did a long documentary about that on my list. I know I love what I saw the clip they showed at the Oscars. So,
Which means there's one spot left, and it's down to me to nominate.
shit.
And I'm actually going to try for one that came out this year. And as a wrestling fan, this movie kind of spoke to me in a way that I didn't think it was going to. I'm bringing up the main event. This is a fun movie. It's about this kid who finds a luchador mask that, as soon as he puts it on, he turns into this great wrestler and takes down a lot of famous wrestlers out there in the WWE. But I think it's a fun movie. And I think Tony's upset about something. But Tony, what do you say about the main event?
Why? Why did you have to bring that turd up? I get no. Let's be blunt here. WWE Studios hasn't released a decent film in the last 20 years. And this one is not the exception. I don't care if I know some of us in the cast. It is dreadful. It is not a good child's film. If you want something decent from Netflix and WWE, the Big Show surprisingly is good. But main event, no.
Chris, what do you say about the main event?
I never seen it. I heard of it. I saw it on Netflix. I was impressed by the plot summary, so I decided to skip on it when I grew up on Netflix.
And Chad, what do you say about the main event?
Never heard of it. I'm not a huge fan of wrestling. I'm not sure if I would like it. Maybe one day I'll give it a shot, but probably not. I guess because Tony says no.
I mean, it's one of those ones. If you're not a fan of wrestling, you probably won't. You actually probably won't enjoy it just because
it's worse than Ready to Rumble.
I liked that when I was a kid, but I was a kid.
Yeah, if you're a kid, this would be a fantastic film. The second, you go into reality, just like for love of Christ, Malcolm, please, I beg you, go find some old luch El Santo movies. You would love them. And they do their whole idea of a magical mask so much better.
Anyway, we go back to Tony.
All right, I'm gonna go for one that came out this year as well. This is Alison Brie. Like, I love Alison Brie.
Oh.
She's an actress that does so many different roles, and this one works so beautiful. It's Whole Skill, psychological drama talking about the mental illness of Brie's character. It's so beautifully well performed. Like, if you haven't watched it, please go ahead and watch it.
Chris, what do you say about Horse Girl?
Haven't even heard of it, and I love her. I love her on Glow. I'm like, man, definitely add it to my list because I love Alison Brie a lot as an actress.
Chad, what do you say about Horse Girl?
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I have heard of it, just haven't gotten around to watch it yet. But I do love Alison Brie, and I was really interested. I just haven't seen it yet. She's great in a lot of things that she does. I also haven't seen Glow, so there you go.
Like, this is one that I hadn't heard about it until one of my friends saw it at Sundance. This is a great movie. Like everything Tony said, like Alison Brie is really great in this, and this is just one of those ones that I didn't know what to expect, and I'm glad I didn't know what to expect, because all the twists and turns that happen in this movie just work. Chris, but with that, it doesn't make the list. Chris, what is your next nomination?
Let's say you guys were saying yesterday. I know the people out there that don't like that 3 hours long, but I think the performances are great. I think, especially from director Monster to say they really good. I'm going with Irishman. The Irishman, whatever you call it. It's 3 hours long, yet it drag at time. But Al Pacino's so good. Joe Pesci, to have him come back after so many years, it is what it is. It's so good. And Robert De Niro, despite the aging, he does give a really good performance in the movie, and it intense, interesting story. Al Pacino steal everything he and same with Joe Pesci, and it's tragic what happened to Al Pacino to the end.
Chad, what do you say about The Irishman?
I watched this movie in installments because, but I liked it. I didn't love it. It's just like out of all the movies that were nominated that year, it was just one of those that like I went like, yeah, I felt like I've seen a Scorsese film like this before, and I just like, I don't know. I all the performances were definitely great. I just didn't love it.
But yeah, if I could get this on the list just because of the performances, I would. But The Irishman is so boring and so long, and it should have been a limited miniseries. I think it would have worked better as a miniseries. And they completely wasted Anna Paquin by just giving her 6 words to say in the entire movie.
No, I'm sorry, but like I know the thing is that she only said that, but her performance wasn't about the words. It was about being there as the character. It's a lot more.
Oh right,
because it was her role in that film was a lot more to be about the whole idea of how women are treated in that society and stuff like that. So if she was there talking the mouth of like if Goodfellas, for example, it wouldn't have fit the actual film.
I mean, it's one of those ones I didn't know what he was planning, and it's just to me, that's what I. But yeah, But Tony, what do you say about The Irishman?
Surprisingly, I like it. Like, I'm not a big fan of Scorsese, but The Irishman, there is that way to watch it as a miniseries. That's what I did, and it worked really well.
But with that, Irishman doesn't make this list. Which and it's back to
find stuff.
Well, I just want to say I didn't think The Irishman was boring, but I think that might be a good idea for a miniseries, Malcolm. That sounds like a kind of a cool idea. Like they did with Yep. So
my
choice.
Go ahead.
This one's pretty hard. We do get to like honorable mentions afterwards. Okay, cool. Because I just have like two I'm struggling with. I'm gonna choose the Ballad of Buster Scruggs. I mean the Coens are great, and I just felt like that was like a really cool idea that they had. With it's just basically like a few different sections of stories, and they're not super connected, but they're just like all really great. It's like I don't know what you would kind of call that type of movie, but like an anthology movie or whatever. It's like a few different stories, but it's got a lot of great people in it. It's got James Franco, the guy who played Dudley Dursley in Harry Potter's in it. Liam Neeson's in it. Tom Waits is in it. There's just a lot. I'm sorry.
Tim Blake Nelson, was he the one that sang the cowboy thing?
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was pretty great. So I felt yeah.
Yeah. This is one that I believe that they were initially planning as a Netflix series. Then they decided to make it an anthology movie. I mean, I'm gonna say yes to it, even though I did think it was just fine. Like I liked about three of the stories in this, but yeah, Tony, what do you say about the Ballad of Buster Scruggs?
Yeah, I really liked it. It's so well done, like so originative that it really works in the environment of Netflix that provides, and I think it's some of the best film work of definitely of the last decade.
And Chris, what do you say about the Ballad of Buster Scruggs?
I haven't seen all of the segment, but I love watching. I love the last segment with the carriage ride and them not knowing the destination. I think that's very funny, and the song sequences. Tim Blake Nelson is fantastic in the movie. But yeah, I say definitely yes. I haven't seen all of the story, but the stuff I think I laughed so hard.
But that does close out the list. Just to recap the 12 that have got on the list that we're going to be ranking in a bit. We've got Always Be My Maybe, Beast of No Nation, Marriage Story, To All the Boys That I Loved Before, 13th, To Five Bloods, Gerald's Game, Dolomite is One Name, Miss Americana, Mudbound, American Factory, and The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. Tony, did you have any honourable mentions?
Yeah, just really one that I was going to suggest was going to be Christmas Chronicles. I think that's a really good Christmas film. And also, if you've not seen it, Tramps.
Chris, did you have any honourable mentions?
I have three. I have. Yeah, not very bad, but I did like El Camino a lot. And I haven't seen all of it, but you guys have not seen half it. Really good romantic comedy, and kind of surprisingly nice LGBT storyline. But yeah, and a special, but I do count it as a movie on the Walker Modern Life one that came out status that came out last year was really good. But yeah, didn't a lot of Netflix movie I haven't seen, but those are the three that stood out to me whenever we look going through my list again. Looking for the one I forgot to mention.
Yeah, Chad, do you have any honourable mentions?
Yeah, the other three that I had on my list were El Camino. I think that's a great Western that they did movie, which supplements Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. And then the documentary Jim and Andy with Jim Carrey. Like that one actually was kind of better than Man on the Moon, the movie that he prepared for. And it just showed another side to Jim Carrey, showing him being that what do you call it? That kind of actor, like Daniel Day-Lewis's method actor. And then between Two Ferns, the movie, that one cracked me up so much. I love that style that he does, and I found it hilarious. So I don't know. That was also on my list, and then the two others were Okja. That one was that one is really hard to watch though, so that's why I didn't put it on the list. It's really great, but it's very hard to watch, so I don't see myself watching it again. And then Little Evil was like this weird little horror movie with Adam Scott in it, and like he's like trying to be with this girl, and she has a son, and he's like it's basically a funny version of The Omen, and he's just like a little devil kid. It's hilarious.
But yeah, for me, some honorable mentions I had The Perfection on my list. I I had Murder Mystery on my list. I did find that enjoyable. Christmas Chronicles was actually going to be the next one I was going to bring up if Buster Scruggs didn't make it on. Walk Wide Rodeo is another one I enjoyed, and Wine Country is one that I watched for this, which I surprisingly felt was good. But anyway, with that being said, now we get to the fun part where we get to actually rank this. But so if write down on a whiteboard or a bit of paper if you've got one handy. But if not, I can. If not, you can just say it if you want.
No, it not.
My whiteboard. Be right back.
It's all good, but if we've got a time, we go to the chat and see what happens. But hopefully not. But
I shot through the skill. Let me just quickly say future presentation.
What are we doing? We're ranking these.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll say write down on the whiteboard what you want for 12, and then you. So yeah, we're going to start from 12, move our way up. So.
So we pick what we think is the
we will
the 12th ranked
out of the ones that made the list. So yeah.
Okay, let me go last.
Yep. I've got Buster Scruggs. Tony, what do you have for 12?
I went Gerald's Game.
Chris.
I bet Malcolm here, Buster Scruggs.
And Chad.
I'll just do Always Be My Maybe. I haven't seen it, so
it's all good. But Ballad of Buster Scruggs is going to be number 12.
Okay. Ooh, this is tough. I had to go with one I have not seen yet.
I'll give you a clue. I'm not changing my board.
I mean, that's fine. A lot of people do stick to the board.
Whilst these people are writing, I should say, Fancy Film Fights every Wednesday. Where we draft show random movie topics. Hosted by myself and Ben Gibbons. Last week, this Wednesday, we had Chance Ellison, Brian Michaels, Ryan O'Regan, and Joe Farley, and we did movie scores. And next week, we are doing something.
But Tony, you've got Gerald's Game, I believe. Chris, what do you have for 11?
I had to go with something I haven't seen American Factory yet, but I know it would be higher for you guys.
Tony, what? Chad, what do you have?
I'm gonna stick with this until I guess it gets chosen. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
But yeah, I went with Gerald's Game.
Yay! Also, we are doing SNL alums on Fantasy Film Fights this week. SNL alums.
Ooh, nice.
All right.
Well, Thursday too. Anybody looking for something to watch tonight for TMG? We do movie trivia night, and I'll be defending my championship title from last night, buddy. Yeah, sticking with the same one.
But yeah, Chris, would be not mind everyone what you had.
Yeah, still same thing in American Factory. I had to go with one I haven't seen between that.
That's all good. I just did it so everyone remembers what you had. Chad, remind everyone what you had.
Yeah, I'll Always Be My Maybe. I'll just keep doing that until they get.
I actually put Mudbound. As much as I like it. Tony.
Ooh,
All right. So I'll be honest. I did have Marriage Story on mine, but I was arguing between that and Mudbound. So if it makes life easier, I'll swap to Mudbound.
Yep, you can totally swap to Mudbound if you would like, which makes life easy
oh,
because we don't have to wait on the chat.
that hurt. But yeah, both of them are great. But yeah, that hurts a little bit. I don't you change up.
But yeah, we're on to 9. Chat.
Malcolm, it's really just you that has to decide at this point because I think Chad's not changing his.
Yeah,
it ranks higher. Once it starts to get higher, I'll change it. But
yeah, I'm going Marriage Story. So,
Ouch! I gotta let Mr. Americana. Ouch!
I mean, I like Marriage Story, but it's one of those ones like out of the ones that were on the table, is like I didn't want either of those to be this low downs either. So
gotcha.
and I mean, it's one of those ones I could have gone for something different and go for the chat, but I also don't want to keep Tony up too long before running on the chat.
If the chat didn't just decide what go with me, I would find where they lived. Just to let them know I'm tired and cranky.
And hopefully you guys don't have like college or hands and the drivers show up and start arguing. Yeah.
But Tony, what do you have for 8?
I'm gonna go Beast of No Nation.
Chris, what do you have for 8?
Mr. Americana, I want to switch up, like switch back and forth between the two and everything.
Chad, what do you have for 8?
I'm fine with Beast of No Nation. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting because as much as I do love Mr. Americana, it's what I put for 8. So we do end up in a tie. So chat, we've got Miss Americana or Beast of No Nation.
You got Miss Americana and a beating, or Beast of No Nation, then fine. Like,
Yeah.
So yeah, as I pop out the chat and hopefully someone comments something. If not,
Then we fight, or
Stardrew put Miss and then shrugs. So I'm going to take that as Stardrew saying Miss Americana.
good to know.
I guess he didn't want to fight it all the way out.
Let me get my shit list down.
But
Okay.
yeah.
Here goes with the other one and everything. Even though I'm still trying to remember all of the team, but I got everything want to have everything.
Well, Chris, I'm going to take a wild stab in the dark, but 50% of it is still going to be the same as what it was the last time.
Tony, what do you have for 7?
I'm going to stick with Beast of No Nations.
Chris?
American Factory.
Chad?
I'm fine with Beast of No Nation.
And I also went Beast of No Nation.
Maybe I'll kick myself when I actually see it. I don't know.
It's fat. It's very much. You can tell it's their first film that Netflix did, but it's Idris Elba's fantastic in it. But
yeah, and honestly, in my opinion, it should have been the first one of theirs that they did that was in discussion for Oscars.
Yeah, I think that that was like Netflix didn't really understand how to play the Oscars in that stage, so they kind of got screwed over.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I remember rightly, it didn't get a theatrical release. I think it was just
Yeah.
Netflix, which meant it wasn't going to be eligible regardless.
Yeah, and then this was like, oh, it just should have got a nomination. Well, they didn't technically do our rules, so screw them. So Netflix can end up buying a thing in New York, a cinema in New York, just be able to spike them. All right.
Tony, what do you have for 6?
I'm going to American Factory.
Chris,
Mine take a lot. I like American Factory.
Chad,
I'll go with Always Be My Movie again.
I read American Factory.
I cannot say no to Always Be My Navy.
It's a nice 6. I guess I got to see this movie. I don't know.
You really do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
If you like rom-coms,
This lasted long.
Yeah, you'll love it then.
Oh, according to Garth, Beast of the Nation did have a limited release. But just to recap what is left, we've got Always Be My Maybe, To All the Boys That I Loved Before, 13th, The Five Bloods, and the Dolomite's My Name is 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Dolomite is My Name, The Five Bloods, 13th, To All the Boys, and Always Be My Maybe.
Curiosity, how many boys have you loved before?
None.
We're not talking about. We're not talking about a Secret Love Affair. Okay, got it.
But Tony, what is your number 5?
I'm going to say I love me some kiwi fruit. I'm going To All the Boys I Loved Before.
Chris, what do you have?
It must have paid me. I do love this movie, To All the Boys I Loved Before.
Chad, what do you have for 5?
I'll just second what they said, or third.
I also read To All the Boys I Loved Before. One thing I found out about, I realised about Netflix going through this, they've got really long titles for a lot of their movies.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, is the sequel worth watching? Well, I haven't sat down and watched it.
Yeah, if you like the first one, then the second one is great.
Yeah.
Wait, talking about sequels, I was almost going to bring up The Kissing Booth 2 at one stage, but it's only literally just come out, so I didn't know if many people have seen it.
I've heard great things.
Yeah, we still got to. I got it confused with something else because I would to go from Mose from Neddy Classified ran it, but that wasn't in the movie.
But Chris, what do you have for 4?
13, because I liked it, but haven't had to see it again for a while before.
Chad, what do you have for 4?
I'll say Always Be My Maybe.
I put The Five Bloods. Tony.
Yeah, I went Five Bloods as well.
Guess we had to go to the. Oh, wait, oh yeah. Never mind. I'm happy to fight Black along it did.
Oh, by the way, so someone just mentioned Triple Frontier. So I've not. That didn't bring up, but I did hear great things about it. I do need to watch it. If anyone else does have any recommendations of Netflix originals, please put them in the chat. Just because I'm curious.
Yeah, it's one of those ones like
Triple Frontier is really good. It's tough a little bit to the end.
It's one of those ones like in the 5 years Netflix has started doing movies, they've done almost 200. So there's definitely a lot out there. Chad, what do you have for 3?
It is time. The other 2 movies are way too good. It has to be this.
I put Dolomite as my name.
Really?
I also put Dolomite as my name.
I went with
Chris,
13. I went with 13. I
and
like it, but yeah.
but yeah, this time instead of putting your number 2, we're just going to go straight to number 1 because the other one will be number 2 by default, regardless. So it's between always be my maybe, and 13.
So just confirm, always be my maybe or 13th. Two films
Man,
that I was
two completely different movies.
No, I was about to say they're completely the same. I feel that like you get the same emotional feel at the end of it with both films.
But Tony, what is your number 1?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with probably the most important one of the most important films of the last decade, 13th.
Chris.
Yeah, I don't need to see 13 again, but going with Always Be My Maybe is something that I love.
Chad, what is your number 1?
A very important film. I agree.
Which is awkward because I've got always be my maybe.
I got to see that movie.
But which means we come down to the chat, and the first one I see will be it. Always be my maybe or 13. And Tony, I know your feature presentation production, so it doesn't count.
I'm not preaching presentation position. How dare you, good sir? That could be many people. There are many people that appear on my channel. Much
All
less
I
not
was
being
saying
talked about.
is like
True.
Keanu we had such a
Oh, that's not the same thing.
I mean, I think I know what Garth meant, so I will count it sadly.
No, he means the Mariah Carey song. Garth's getting
Yeah,
on the
there you
range,
go.
okay?
That's just what he's listening to, Malcolm.
Like, yeah. Garth just really, really likes some Mariah. So.
Wow, I got to see that movie, guys.
But yeah.
And the rest of the movies on this list.
So actually get that typed.
I'm happy nobody brought up Oh God, because that is a film I don't like that a lot of people like that.
I still need to see that one.
Yeah, same here.
But anyway, this is our top 12 Netflix originals. At number 12, we've got The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. At 11, we've got Gerald's Game. At 10, we've got Mudbound. At 9, we've got Marriage Story. At 8, we've got Miss Americana. At 7, we've got Beast of No Nation. At 6, we've got American Factory. At 5, we've got To All the Boys I Loved Before. And the sequel's just somehow longer. The Five Bloods is 4. Dolomite's the name is 3. 13th is 2. Always Be My Maybe is our number 1. But with that being said, this is what I normally say. I'll have a poll in a bit for next week, but there will be there may or may not be a ranking next week. I'm out of town, so I'm not going to be able to do it. I might be able to get someone to host it but yeah, at this moment there's not going to be one but when I come back, I've already got a topic in mind. I will announce that maybe this week, but we'll find out if I decide to do that. But with that being said, let's find out where we can find people. Chad, where can people find you online?
I'm on Letterboxd at CWeb1534, Twitter Chadwick_Web. I'm on Facebook with a lot of these different trivia leagues and stuff. Yeah, this was a really good list, guys. I have a lot of great movies to watch.
Chris, where can people find you online?
Find me a favorite. I'll be on later tonight with TMG. Watch me defend my champions. It'll be a fun one. And I'll be on a few things during the week. We've got a movie battleground coming up for TMG that'll be interesting.
Tony, where can people find you online?
Yeah, so best thing, Feature Presentations Productions. Go there, please subscribe. We do a ton of shows. We do movie trivia. No, we do movie. I was going to say movie trivia face off. No, that's a different place. We do movie trivia matches, FPTL, which are every Sunday. So we got one tomorrow evening. We got Fancy Film Fights, as I mentioned. We got Watch Alongs. We got Enough with Bill Cariolo, which is a show about B movies. We got Now Show with Aaron J, which is movie discussions. It's a ton of stuff. But if you are interested in discussing films and pop culture, it's absolute diamond.
But yeah, you can and you can find me on Take 3 or host late night with Take 3 and Rankin, both of which are not going to be on next week. But you can also find me over on Full Metal. We host Full Metal Classic and Full Metal Random. Full Metal Classic is on tomorrow, which is directly after the FPTL match.
I should. That's how tired I am. Okay, I got my fucking name off my own show wrong.
I mean, it's what I'm not tired. I was almost going to say Fantasy Productions presents.
That's my
there's
OnlyFans
also-
page.
But you could also I also host Full Metal Random. This week it's going to be a DC Comics history match between Garth McMurray and Caleb Coho. But until next time, keep listing shit. And Tony's going to go to bed.